Hello everyone. I wanted to do this short video, although they're never short because I never stop talking, about how to deal with the frustration when you're working something out. Now, I was inspired to come and do this because at the moment, my wife is trying to sort out our broadband, changing a provider, and there's been frustration. And it's really interesting. So you may hear some swearing in the background. For that, I apologize, but we are getting closer. But it made me think about how when you're dealing with something, it can be so frustrating because you're not getting where you want to go quick enough. You're not getting the answers you want. But then someone else from the outside looking in isn't frustrated. Okay. And then we sort of go, well, sometimes that can not be helpful, is it? Especially if people are maybe going, "Oh, that's all right. It's not. Don't worry about that. You haven't got to, chill out about that a bit." That's not necessarily helpful. But what it shows is, it's not the situation that's making us stressed. It's not that that's causing us the frustration, because otherwise both people will. Both people would be frustrated. What's causing the frustration is the way we're thinking about it and our attachment to the outcome. That's often what it is. But that frustration, that is normal. Okay, so I want to show you how I approach it now because I I'm someone that my default is to get very frustrated at technology when things aren't going quick enough. I that type A personality. Come on, I don't want glitches. I just want it done, and can get very impatient and rushed. But what I find is that often causes me issues because get frustrated, don't think clearly, things take longer, and I make more mistakes. So this is what I do. And I often do this on a bit of paper. I draw a little stick man, and that is me having achieved my goal. So let's just look at it for now. Imagine that this is signed up to Sky Broadband. And this can be anything you're trying to achieve. Okay. This could be any goal. This could be prisoner, charged, and remanded. Okay. This is the future. So we're not there yet. And what we are is we are here. So this is the now. So for us, no Sky broadband. Now, I won't bore you with all the details what's happening with the broadband because no one wants to hear about that necessarily. Hang on, I'm going to write that a bit neater. But what it shows you is ev- pretty much you can apply this to everything we do because this is the problem. We're here and we want to get there. And we think that journey should be like that. This is our expectation. We want the journey to be smooth. We want to just make the phone call. We want someone to go, "Oh, yes, no problem at all. We'll send you out your new router and all your stuff. The engineer will be out and they're going to fix that for you." But the reality is like this. All these steps going here, 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 here. This is reality. Okay. So this is really the problem, that we expect it to be like this, but it's actually like this. Like this is one move, then we go here. We didn't, maybe we've been redirected somewhere. We haven't got where we want to go. And that sends us here, 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 and it just goes on. What I want to say is the gap between not having something and having something, when you're coming across those obstacles, it's normal to feel frustration. What I want you to do is think this is normal. Okay, frustration is normal. Think of it as your brain is sort of gearing up and realizing this isn't going to be as easy as we thought, and it's trying to solve the problem. So that mental resistance we feel, that oh, this is hard. Think of that. That is actually your brain going, oh, actually, we've come across an obstacle. It's livening up your brain so it can solve the problem. Okay, that's the first thing to remember. Nothing has gone wrong. This is normal. But what we often do is, and this is going to be my dodgy thing, that's us there, we lean away from the frustration. So we get a lot of resistance to it. We're going, oh, no, I don't want to feel this. So then we add a lot of more frustration. What we want to do is we want to lean into that frustration. It's not very clear, but that is someone leaning into the frustration. So we want to normalize it and realizing that is normal. Okay. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Accept that this is the journey and accept this frustration is normal. And then what we want to do is realize that we're always further ahead. So many times we go, well, that was a waste of time. We try something, maybe we get redirected. If you're thinking like custody, you might phone a solicitor and they go, oh, actually, we can't, oh, yeah, we can come out. And then they go, oh, no, we can't. Suddenly your suspect needs to go to hospital or something like this. There's things changing all the time. And we think that we're further behind. Okay. But it's only because of our expectation of where we should be. We're actually never behind. It's impossible to be behind because compared to what? It's always compared to our expectation. And what you'll realize is if you have more information, then you are further forward. So you may not get the result you want. You may not get the result, but if you've got more information, then you've gained. And even if you try something, so you try something and then it sends you into another direction, this is a bit of a dead end, you've still got more information. You've eliminated that. So you realize that actually frustration is normal and you are always further ahead. It's literally like you're taking little steps and it may not seem like it because you maybe feel like hitting brick walls, but if you're getting more information, then you're making progress. And one thing I noticed was my wife was getting very frustrated about the sky, and I wasn't. If I was doing it, if I'd been tasked to do that, there's a good chance I might have been getting frustrated. And the reason is, what I realize is I'm not attached to this outcome. And this is a key thing. If you need, the frustration comes when we need something, when we go, oh, I really need this, I need this to happen. And of course, for me, I'm not so worried about this. So I see it very differently. Okay. Now, a lot of you go, yeah, but actually, then you just won't try. What I find is when we're attached to something, when we're attached to an outcome, we create more frustration and it just really makes it quite painful. So what I find the key is first of all, recognizing this is the path. This is normal. Just look back, everything you've done, when you've had people in custody, when you've been booking a holiday or whatever you've done, when has it ever gone like that? Never. That is bullshit. That's not reality. This is reality. So you have to accept that's the reality. Then you have to go embrace that frustration and realize that is your brain working it out. That's normal. Doesn't mean anything's gone wrong. And you have to detach from that outcome. Detach from that outcome. And what you'll find is you move through each step easier. And something I do as I'm moving along, as I'm moving to each step, I just identify the next step in front of me and I go, what have I got to think to move to that next step? And that's all I've got to be doing. I've got to be creating emotions that drive me forward. So if I'm thinking this is really hard, this is really frustrating, I don't want to do this, that's going to create a negative response. And then because we're wired to move away from negativity, we're actually less likely to want to take the next step. So all I look at is go, but this is what I want. This is my goal. Break it down and go, right, what have I got to do? This is my next step. What have I got to think to get that next step done? And often it's just like, let's just make that call. Let's just do it. I only need to know that next step in front of me. And then once you do that next step, you then evaluate the information you've got, you realize you're further forward, and then you then look at the next step. A great way of thinking this is if you're like driving at night, if you think like it's dark, you can't see the whole road. All you can see is the bit in front of you. Now that's all you need to see, what's in the headlights. And then you can embrace that this is how it is. You can embrace that frustration. And what you can do is, if you don't get quite where you thought you would, you can put it down because you realize you're exactly where you should be. Exactly where you should be. It's just your expectation causing that problem. And then you can pick it up where you left off. But when you think it should be like this, it's hard to put it down. And I'm a master at this where I go, I just can't leave it. I can't leave it because I want to get to this outcome. But when you detach from it, what you can do is you can just then put it down if needed and then come back to it. Now, there may be situations where you go, I can't put it down because we're against a custody clock or doing something like that. Then, okay, then we just keep going and we just keep looking at the one step ahead of us, evaluate and move forward. So that's the key. Accept it. Accept that this is the reality. Accept that frustration. Lean into it. Don't lean away from it. Detach from your outcome and think, what have you got to think to take the next step? For me, it's often just do it. And hopefully that will help you. Because what you can do then, everything you need to do, if there's something you know you don't particularly like doing, case file, put it there. That's my outcome. What's my next step? What have I got to think to take that next step? And then keep measuring your wins, keep measuring your gains, and you'll see how much you move forward. Hope that's helpful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.